hey, if we're driving collaboration, but we're trying to make it secure, isn't that going to add friction?
2toLead is a remote-first company based out of Canada.
What makes a world-class Microsoft 365 intranet and digital workplace?
So let's talk about why are we even having this discussion? Why is compliant collaboration and just collaboration as an emphasis point, why is it so important to really focus on? Well, the reality is that the industry has shifted a lot in the last 10 years. And if we think about collaboration in the last 2 years, it's changed in a very drastic way. So we know that we want more collaboration. So if you're on the fence on this, everyone wants to enhance collaboration, everyone wants to improve collaboration, but I want to be really clear that there's 100% agreement that we want more collaboration. The reason for that is because we know that employees generally feel that they don't collaborate enough, that one of the biggest leaders for workplace failure is actually a lack of collaboration, and that we know that the more people collaborate, the more they create deeper networks and ties and associations in an organization, which reduces attrition risk, right? So if you think of the Great Resignation and other major trends that are happening after or during this late stage of the pandemic, what we want to make sure that we're addressing those needs, and collaboration and driving collaboration, making collaboration easier, sort of making it easier. That's an important way in which we can improve collaboration and collaboration outcomes. So we definitely want more collaboration. The question is why aren't people collaborating more, and why is this still a gap, especially when we have great digital tools? Well, the first thing to note is most collaboration nowadays is digital, right? Especially with hybrid work and remote work transition in the last few years with the pandemic. This has already been going on for quite some time. And so if we know that our collaboration is digital, what are the challenges that people experience when working with these tools? So we're going to talk about those. Like, what are the digital tool challenges that get in the way of collaboration and effective collaboration today? And another thing to think about here is if the volume, the velocity, velocity means speed of collaboration. If we think of the variety of collaboration, if all of those things are increasing based on demand, there's a big question then on is that creating more risk for us as an organization, right? Because when you have one person, it's more secure working on something than if you have many working. And especially when we start to think about how collaboration has become more porous and we work with more people outside the organization than ever before, this becomes an even more prevalent risk. Now, the reality is, unfortunately, in the last few years, this has become a big challenge. We know that data breach is much higher with remote employees, and that is, again, the norm as we move on to a hybrid work phase. And we also know that for the vast majority of these data breaches, that it was due to remote work and often due to collaborative remote work, and those are the risks. So we want to make sure that we understand that as collaboration needs increase in volume and variety and velocity, as I mentioned, increases, we need to make sure we do it in a secure way that doesn't expose our organization to more risk. And there is a path there for sure. One of the discussions I often have with customers around collaboration when we talk about these increases in volume is that a lot of times people will push back and ask things like, hey, if we're driving collaboration, but we're trying to make it secure, isn't that going to add friction? Isn't that going to kind of restrict collaboration? Isn't that going to get in the way of collaboration? Almost like a headwind. And I can tell you that compliance, security, lifecycle management, retention rules, all that stuff, right? That we broadly categorize often as compliance or the organizational responsibilities for collaboration, that those are actually not necessarily blocking or slowing collaboration, that they should actually be empowering collaboration. If your collaboration model, think about it this way, if your collaboration model itself didn't have managed states, right? If you weren't managing collaboration, that means that you're not able to be more efficient, right? The more we manage, the more we support, govern, make it by default in this way, right, compliant, the more that's actually going to improve collaboration, improve the speed of our acceleration, right? If we think of velocity and how quickly we need to collaborate, it's going to improve how rapidly we can get to larger volumes of collaboration, and it's certainly going to help with a variety of collaboration. So if you don't believe that, that's okay. That's my goal today, is to explain how these all connect, but that's an important distinction.